The world is watching. From New York to London, from Tokyo to Johannesburg, millions are glued to their screens, sensing that something historic is unfolding. In the secretive halls of Zhongnanhai, Beijing's leaders weigh a decision that could reshape the global order, their faces betraying the gravity of the moment. It's November 2nd, 2025. News tickers worldwide flash urgent headlines, Beijing to respond to Iran's strategic alliance proposal. The world's attention is fixed on China's next move. Tehran's offer is unprecedented, a formal public military and economic alliance, openly defying the United States and challenging decades of established power. A yes from China would challenge the post-Cold War order, sending shockwaves through every capital. A no would leave Iran isolated, its gamble lost. In Washington, the White House and Pentagon prepare for every scenario, wargaming outcomes and weighing their own responses. European leaders scramble, fearing a collapse of their delicate diplomacy and the unraveling of alliances built over generations. Oil prices rise, markets tremble, and military strategists track movements in the Persian Gulf and South China Sea. The world economy teeters on the edge of uncertainty. Tehran's proposal includes access to Iranian ports, exclusive energy rights, and a mutual defense pact, an offer that could redraw the map of global alliances. In return, Iran seeks Chinese investment, advanced military technology, and a security guarantee that would bind the two nations together for years to come. For China, it's a golden opportunity and a monumental risk. The stakes have never been higher for Beijing's leadership. Accepting means energy security, new trade routes, and power projection far beyond Asia's borders, but also confrontation with the West, possible sanctions, and the threat of military escalation. The decision rests with a handful of Chinese leaders, but its impact will be global, touching every continent and every major power. Will Xi Jinping choose caution, maintaining the status quo, or declare a new era where Beijing sets its own rules and challenges the old order? The world holds its breath, waiting for the dragon's choice. Every second feels like an eternity as leaders and citizens alike anticipate the outcome. The aftershocks of this decision will shape history for decades, altering alliances, economies, and the very balance of power for generations to come. The China-Iran partnership is decades in the making, rooted in shared grievances against Western dominance. Both nations have long felt sidelined by global powers, fueling a sense of solidarity that has only grown stronger over time. Since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, China has kept lines open with Iran, building trust that now faces its ultimate test. Through years of shifting alliances and global upheaval, their relationship has quietly deepened, even as the world watched with suspicion. Their 2021 comprehensive strategic partnership laid the groundwork, Chinese investment for Iranian oil, all under the radar. This agreement signaled a new era, promising billions in infrastructure and energy deals, and hinting at a future where both countries could challenge the status quo. China became Iran's economic lifeline, using creative tactics to bypass sanctions and keep Tehran afloat. From secret oil shipments to back-channel banking, Beijing ensured Iran's economy didn't collapse under Western pressure. This quiet support allowed Iran to resist U.S. pressure and continue its nuclear ambitions. With China's backing, Iran found the breathing room to pursue its controversial programs, defying international isolation. Now, Iran wants to turn this informal partnership into a formal alliance, seeking a security guarantee to break its isolation. Tehran hopes that a stronger bond with Beijing will finally give it the leverage it needs on the world stage. For China, it's a chance to expand its Belt and Road Initiative and secure energy, but at the risk of global confrontation. The stakes are high, as deeper involvement with Iran could draw Beijing into new conflicts and rivalries. The world is on edge because this isn't just about oil, it's about building an alternative to the American-led system. If successful, this partnership could reshape global alliances and economic power structures for years to come. This moment is the culmination of years of shared defiance, not a sudden shift. Decades of quiet cooperation have led to this critical juncture where both nations are ready to step into the spotlight together. The stakes are higher than ever. Every move is watched, every decision could tip the balance of power. The alliance would move from shadows to center stage, forcing the world to reckon with a new reality. The world watches as history accelerates, uncertain of what the next chapter will bring. Iran's bold offer is not just a diplomatic maneuver, it's a signal of how dire the situation has become for the country's leadership. This move is born of desperation, forged under the weight of relentless US sanctions that have squeezed the nation's economy and tested the patience of its people. Since the US withdrew from the 2015 nuclear deal, Iran's economy has been battered on all fronts. Oil exports have plummeted, the rial has lost much of its value, and waves of public unrest have swept through the streets. The regime now faces a stark and narrowing choice: surrender to international pressure, or escalate its defiance in hopes of breaking the deadlock. In this crisis, China has emerged as Iran's economic lifeline, buying oil and injecting much-needed hard currency into the economy, even as most of the world turns away. By 2025, China is importing over 1.5 million barrels of oil per day from Iran, often using complex methods to disguise these shipments and avoid international penalties. This support has weakened the impact of US sanctions and kept Iran's economy afloat, but it's no longer enough to reverse the country's downward spiral. Iran's economy remains stagnant, unemployment is high, its youth are restless, and its regional adversaries are growing bolder by the day. Tehran's latest proposal to China is a calculated gamble, an attempt to transform China's quiet economic support into an overt security shield, hoping to change the balance of power. In exchange for granting China a strategic foothold in the Middle East, Iran seeks protection from a global superpower, betting that this alliance will deter its enemies. The hope is clear: to force the world to accept Iran as a legitimate regional power, sanctions and all, and to break free from years of isolation. It's a high-stakes move, one that could redraw the map of power in the Middle East and trigger unpredictable consequences for the entire region. The regime is betting everything on China's answer, knowing that the outcome could determine its survival. Around the world, governments and citizens alike brace for the fallout, aware that the repercussions could be felt far beyond Iran's borders. The stakes are nothing less than survival, legitimacy, and the future of the region. For Iran, the gamble is on, and the world is watching. Imagine Beijing's formal announcement: China and Iran are now strategic and military allies. In an instant, the Middle East's balance of power is upended. Chinese investment floods into Iran. Energy, infrastructure, ports, and railways transform the country overnight. Iran's economy surges, shielded by a superpower. Advanced Chinese weapons and advisors arrive, and joint military exercises become routine. Most crucially, a security guarantee means any attack on Iran could trigger a Chinese response. The US and Israel must recalculate their strategies. The world is forced to choose sides as alliances fracture and new blocs emerge. The global divide hardens, and a new era of great power rivalry begins. The rules have changed permanently. Washington's response would be immediate and fierce. The US president addresses the nation, framing the alliance as a grave threat. Sweeping new sanctions target both Iran and Chinese entities, risking a trade war. Congress unites, military deployments surge, and arms sales to allies accelerate. Europe condemns the alliance but is divided. Economic ties to China complicate unity. Japan, South Korea, and Australia align with the US, fearing China's new reach. The G7 scrambles for consensus, but the Western alliance is strained. The West faces a stark question: how far will it go to counter a direct challenge from China? For Israel, a Sino-Iranian alliance is a nightmare realized. Iran's new access to advanced Chinese weapons threatens Israel's military edge. Israel demands stronger US guarantees and steps up covert operations. The risk of a preemptive strike on Iran grows, but so does the danger of drawing China into conflict. The Gulf states, reliant on US security and Chinese trade, are caught in the middle. They accelerate arms purchases and deepen quiet ties with Israel, but can't afford to alienate Beijing. The fragile Gulf détente shatters, replaced by a new era of uncertainty. Regional powers must now navigate a world where their security and economic partners are on a collision course. The stakes for the Middle East have never been higher. A formal alliance would revolutionize energy and trade. China secures Iranian oil, possibly priced in yuan, challenging the petrodollar system. The global oil market splits, one bloc trading in dollars, another in yuan. Iran becomes a key hub in China's Belt and Road, with upgraded ports and railways. New trade routes bypass Western-controlled sea lanes, reducing US leverage. Chinese naval presence in the Persian Gulf becomes permanent, raising the risk of clashes with the US Navy. Industrial cooperation deepens. Factories, tech, and even cyber capabilities expand in Iran. Sensitive technologies blur the line between civilian and military development. Western intelligence agencies grow increasingly alarmed. The alliance transforms not just the region, but the global balance of power. Oil, trade, and military might are now tools in a new great power contest. The world's energy arteries are being redrawn. Could this alliance bring stability or disaster? For Iran, Chinese investment and security could end decades of isolation. A confident, protected Iran might be more open to diplomacy, but the risks are immense. The greatest danger, nuclear escalation. With China's backing, Iran could dash for a bomb, triggering a regional arms race. Proxy wars would intensify as Iran supports allies across the Middle East with new resources. The US and its partners would respond in kind, turning the region into a battleground for great power rivalry. A US-China trade war could plunge the global economy into recession. The promise of stability is distant, the peril of conflict is immediate. The world stands at a crossroads between hope and catastrophe. The outcome depends on choices made now. As Beijing deliberates, the world watches for signals. Official rhetoric, economic moves, and military cooperation will reveal China's true intentions. New credit lines, construction projects, or joint military exercises would signal the alliance is real. This is the point of no return. The region's strategic calculus will change forever. The consequences will touch every nation, from energy prices to security. We are at a hinge point in history. The choice in Beijing will shape whether the world moves toward confrontation or managed competition. The watchers on the wall are everywhere because no one will be spared the impact.